Welcome back to the table. So I believe we were in July, August. Does that sound right? Yes, that sounds right. And I think we were getting ready to resolve some battles. Somebody asked about, the way the manufacturing costs so much, right? So how does that work with the expansions? And so I wanted to point out, this is the kind of table I keep looking at. So for example, January, February, we got 28 and then 29, and it goes up to 39 by the end of the year. And here you can see it's 20, and then it goes to 22 by the end of 1942. All right. Now this says 1944, but it actually has the chart for every year on it, which I think is quite helpful. But and then you can see in 45, we're going to start at 42, and then it actually goes down, which I find to be interesting. And then of course there's special rules that are unique to this expansion. And this expansion I'm referring to, of course, is the Total War expansion. And that Total War expansion includes these ridiculous costing factories that absorb a whole bunch of your points. Now I'm going to reach across the table here. The basic game, so for example, this is 43. You can see right here, the supply points is just 23 the whole year. And let me see if I can grab the 44 one, see if we can get some comparison. So, for example, in 45, it's 36 points. And they do have special rules, even in the basic game. So here we go. In 44, the average is 27 points. So we actually start 44 with 28 in our expansion. So we are getting more. So the general comment that was made was, if these factories cost so much more, then where are you getting those extra points from, right? Because if the basic game, if you're getting just as many points as the basic game, then where it's basically making the game just infinitely harder. So as you can see here in 44, the basic game is 27 points. And apparently we don't have to, we're making more than that in our game. Now, obviously we have to pay for these ridiculous factories in our game, so that is part of it. But here's the other part of it. In 44, if you play the basic game, Calpens, Princeton, let's see, Bunker Hill, Langley. Remember, we just paid money to build the Langley. In this game, if you're playing the basic, it's already built. So there's a lot of pre-built stuff that we're going to have to pay to build. So, yeah, we're getting extra points, and yes, I could use that for the factories, but at the same token, it's still not that much extra. And then in 42, you're getting 21 points. And in the campaign that we have, you start with 20 and then you go up to 22. So this is right in the middle. So it's not super far off. Yeah, so somehow or another, you have to figure out how to manage all these factories. And I think what it means is ultimately you're not going to produce everything that's producible. You just can't. And I don't know. I mean, that's about all I could really say to the matter. I have mixed feelings. I love the idea of factories, but I'm just not sure how much I enjoy this one. I do have a strategy in my mind, like if we ever did another playthrough, of going gung-ho on this instead of those factories up there. And the idea is if you have enough rushes each turn, you can just rush order your production. And you can see here, I get 6 free rushes each turn if I get to this level. Well, 6 free rushes, I mean, you can only rush each item one time, but that's still, it's still quite powerful. So anyways, let's go ahead and figure out our battles. I marked them. Let's do the hard one, or the one that I'm concerned about. We'll do, what do we got? We got the Philippines, and then we have Wake Island, and then Solomon Islands. So let's do Solomon first. Okay. if the Japanese start with forces, which they don't, we have 1 infantry there. They have a transport with 1, 2. Oh, and then a carrier fleet. Holy bucket. So yes, we got ourselves quite the conundrum. So 2 full-size carriers as well. And so that's all going up against 1 infantry. Oh boy. Did I freak out about this last night? I must have. Okay. So I rolled a 4, which is good. It's only 2 battle turns. And I'm going to take, for my 3 points, the engaged to reduce the battle duration by 1. And they're going to get 1 battle plan. And so drawing the battle plan here. And they got artillery, which isn't going to help them. And okay, so they have a full carrier. I'm not going to bother getting the 0 because it doesn't matter. All that matters is the dive bomber and the torpedo bomber. We have no anti-air. So here's their situation. They're doing land attack against us, so it's a 3 and a 2. And so it's going to be 2 carriers worth, though. So I'm going to roll 2 dice, 2 3s and 2 2s. So here's the 2 3s. So there's a 1 and a 6. So there's 1 hit. And then the 2 2s, there's the other hit. So they actually eliminated us, those pricks. Sorry about that. I'm getting a little angry. All right. That shouldn't have happened. I thought the odds were in our favor. So they actually take the Solomon Islands. Not happy about that. And we're going to have to take it back next turn, it looks like. And then, of course, Carrier Fleet 5 lives to see another day. That was unfortunate. All right. So the carriers did their job. And by taking this, they now open the door to here. So there's some issue with this, but we'll keep going. And the next island is Wake Island, which is going to be a pretty hefty battle. The invader may not use airfields. That's it. It's the only real... So Carrier Fleet 1 and 3. So Carrier Fleet 1 is bringing a transport with them. And 5 ships. So 5 ships, and then Carrier Fleet 3 is bringing 3 of their own. And let's take a look at what we got. We have a light carrier, an escort carrier, an escort carrier, an escort carrier, an escort carrier, a cruiser, a light carrier, and a destroyer. So, but they both have the same anti-air. So that's a 7. Oh, I meant to say even odd. So this one would go up, and then this guy will be there. Can I help you? Good job, buddy. Sorry, just talking to my kids, and still gotta be a parent while I play my games. And so my son had some good news. So good job. All right. So that's that piece. And then the island itself is just filled with battalions. So I'm just going to go out a little bit into the ocean here. So that's what's on the island. And then they also have planes on the island. And I don't think we've ever held this, so they're going to start with a fortification counter on top of everything. So this is definitely going to be a tough battle. But we also put So we got our own transport. Hey, you're going out to eat tonight.
Where?
I don't know, ask Josh, but. Sorry, more kid stuff. Okay, so we have Destroyer, Lexington, the Wasp, and the Hornet. So our 3 full-size carriers should be pretty formidable, even though they have a lot of carriers themselves. We have some battleships, which I think we're going to put there. Look at the anti-air on those battleships, though. That's pretty impressive. I mean, they're even better than the destroyers. Got an Abda, and these are all cruisers. And I think we want to pound the crap out of the situation. And for this one, I'm going to take the same one, Engaged. I'm going to follow the advice of a viewer that when I have an overwhelming number of forces like this, having an extra battle turn is the most powerful thing I can do. So I am concerned that I might take some hits, but let's see. I rolled a 10, so we already have 4 battle turns for this. So this could go very, very well. Now, I probably should need to have 1 more escort, because then I can maximize my anti-air and protect my carriers. My carriers have really poor anti-air. So who would I bring back? I could bring back one of those battleships, but I don't know if that's a good idea. I mean, bringing back the battleships has a huge anti-air value, which is nice. Oh, or do I just leave it? Well, let's look at this. So with their light carrier, they're going to have a 0 and a dive bomber, right? And then the escort carriers are only going to have dive bombers. So they're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dive bombers. And we have 3 carriers. Yeah, I'm going to leave it like this. I know that means I'm rolling 1 less anti-air for escorts, but I need to pound the ground, if you will. And I need my battleships and cruisers to just put craters in this place. Okay, so the number of battle plans they get is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. They're getting 3 battle plans, which are going to stink because they're going to get first light. They're going to get no attack in the ocean. They're going to get all kinds of stuff. Anti-air boosts. And that's what's going to ruin our day. So here's number 1. Carrier attack. All bombers roll 10. That could actually be a little valuable. Just a little. Next one. Submarine warfare. I'm good with that, because it's useless for them. +1 on all rolls. So that is always a painful one. But the good news here is we can go for their carriers on this first round. Okay, so for us, we have this situation. Times 3. So we have our Hellcat, 2 dive bombers, and a torpedo times 3. All right, I know that they're coming at us with all their bombers. So that means my fighter is going to do CAG duty, right, times 3. And I'm being lazy. I'm not getting out 3 copies of everything. And then this times 3 is all going after their carriers. And yeah, there's no escort, so it means that some of my stuff's going to get shot down, but that's what I'm doing. Now for them, we said it was going to be this times 6, right? And then they have the 0 times 2. They only have 2 zeros, so I got to roll for the zeros. This times 6 is all coming after me. So I'll try to grab a few more of these because they're going to probably, if all goes well for us, take some hits. So 1, 2, 3. 4, 5. I do have 6 of them. So we can get 6 out here. So it's definitely ugly. And then, you know, as these take damage, I'll get out more tokens and, you know, stuff like that. But that's basically it in a nutshell. So now I'm going to roll 2 dice for the zeros on the carrier. So this one's going after the island, and that one's going after the island. But I don't have any planes on the island, so they're going to go up. So they're joining the bombers, coming after my carriers, which that part's bad news. And then the one on the island is also, so all the zeros are coming after my carriers. Everything they have is coming after my carriers. So this is the situation. And I don't have enough anti-air or dogfighting to take all those out. So every one of those bombers is going to take a shot at my carriers. And I'm probably going to take damage, maybe with all 3. And that means getting extra turns is going to stink. So this was not necessarily a great idea. And I don't know what else I could have done, to be quite honest. I could, you know, if I would have added, well, I needed more battle plan points so I can do more damage with dogfights and stuff like that. But this is not going to be good. My only saving grace is they roll 3s. But with this, it's going to be 4s. And 4s are usually, you know, a few of those are going to hit. I can't avoid that. So, all right, well, we do anti-aircraft, and let's start with them. So they have 1 escort. It's a 2. And I rolled a 10, so that escort misses. And then they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carriers, all with a 2-1. And we have 9 planes going after them. So with a 2-1, yeah, we have 9 planes, so all of them are going to get to roll. And so these are all 2-1. We don't want 2s or 1s rolled by them. And that's a miss, a miss, a miss, a miss, a miss, and a miss. Now, I almost forgot about this 1-0, and I distinctly remember seeing 2 3s in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out 1 torpedo bomber. So I now have only 2 torpedo bombers, but I have 3 of everything else because I took 2 hits because of that. The fact that they get a +1 to all attack rolls. They did roll some 3s, and I saw 2 of them. Okay. So now we get to do dogfighting, which was supposed to be before the anti-air. So my apologies there. I get they have 2 6-3s. So this is a 2 hits, and that's 1 hit. So they have 3 hits so far. Then they have a 5-3, which is a miss, and then they have a 3-2, which is a miss. So they had 3 hits against us. So what's going to happen is one of our, just trying to find it. One of our Hellcats got completely destroyed. The other one is injured. And so of the 3, we have basically 1.5 left, right? But we get to roll 3 dice at 8-4, and we really need to hit here. So there's an 8, there's a 7, and there's a 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 hits on them, but unfortunately 4 hits, we have to go after the 1 bracket. So we can take out, for example, the ones on the island, or we can take out the ones that are on the carrier. I don't know which one's better. I would argue the island. Yeah, let's take out the island ones. So the 2 island ones are gone. And I'm just checking their year, because if it's anything other than 44, I put it out of the game. And so we took out the 2 island ones, and for purposes of damage, I got to put an airfield of 2, because now they're going to absorb 2 hits on the island. Okay, So that didn't help us. We didn't stop a single one of their bombers. And so they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like I said. 2, 4, 6. And they hit with a 4, not a 3 because of their ability. And we need to pray here. That's a hit, miss, miss, hit, hit, and hit. So 4 hits got through. And I'm not happy. So I can hit all 3 of my carriers and sink 1, or I can just sink 2 and keep 1. That is a very bad situation. Because you can see here, these are all the 1942 ones, so they're going to be out of the game forever. Which I know there's a Essex class version of them. I get that, but we had the Essex class version and the regular class version. So this is just a very bad situation for us. If I damage all 3 of them, I'm possibly going to lose them, because then I'm going to lose all my planes, right? But then I would only actually lose 1 ship instead of losing 2. Now, if I lose 2 of the ships, then I keep the planes for the 3rd one, and I can still at least put up a fight with the 3rd one. Oh gosh. I think the cardinal rule here is you don't want to lose ships, especially carriers. So I'm going to damage all 3, unfortunately. And then I'm going to sink the Hornet. And that blows. So now we got to make it count. So we are rolling. Remember, we only have 2 torpedo bombers, but we have 3 of everything else. So everything else, well, this is 2 times 3, right? So we have 6 dive bombers and then only 2 torpedo bombers. So we're going to get to roll 8 dice. Here's 7 of them. And what I'm hoping is we do mutual destruction here. There's 7. And we're rolling for 6s. So there's 1 hit, 2 hit, 3 hit, 4 hit, 5 hits, 6 hits. I'm getting a little giddy. And then let's roll 1 more. 7 hits we just did on them. So what's interesting, though, is it's still not enough. But we did do 7. And so the 2 light carriers are going down. That's 2, 4. And then 6. And then 7. So we just took out 3 carriers and damaged a 4th. So even though they damaged us pretty hard, we returned the favor. And in doing what we did, we lose all of our planes, right? Because our planes have nowhere to land. I sort of wish they had rules where you could land on the airfields, but in this situation it wouldn't matter. And then their 2 zeros get destroyed, and then only 2 of their dive bombers land. These 4 get destroyed. So we were able to take out a lot of their attack capability, but unfortunately we lost. Oh, we forgot to roll for anti-air. Oh my gosh, is that going to change things? Well, I get to roll 2 3s. That's 1 hit, and that would have had to hit a 0, so let's keep that in mind. And then these are 2 1 2 1 and 4 2. So let's do the 2 1 2 1. There's a 1 for 2 hits, and then the 4 2. That's 2 3. We just did 4 hits. That would not have changed anything. All we would have done was destroy the zeros, unfortunately. So it would have been the same outcome, folks, as much as I wish it wasn't. And actually this hurt. Actually, this hurt. Because if they would have just divided up a little bit, it would have been nice. Because these destroyers and stuff would have torn them apart. Okay, so we're done with that, and then we're going to move on to the naval phase, They have one naval ship. It's a 3. I rolled a 9. And I'm looking at ours now, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 4s. 5 4s. 1 hit, 2 hits, 2 hits. So we did 2 hits on them, and that's only 1 battalion. I mean, it's so pathetic. Okay, and then we have 2 7s, and only 1 of them hit. And so a battalion flips, and that's it. We're not going to win this battle. So we land on the beach. They land on the beach with 2 units. Transports go away. Our carriers are dead in the water. We move down to 3 turns left, and I have the engaged, so I can decide to increase or decrease the turns. And unfortunately, like if I knew what was going to happen to those 2 bombers they have, I'm going to increase the turn. Going to go to 4. So let's see what they do. 1, they're doing a pre-attack. First light. 2 and 3. So they're going to stop a hit on a carrier, and there's no attack in the ocean. So we're okay with those 2. In fact, the carrier save is never going to help them really, because we have nothing to attack their carrier with. So 1 dive bomber is coming at us. So we roll a 3 for our anti-air, and there's a 2. And then we roll a 1 0, and that's another 2, which would have been nice. But so this dive bomber comes through, but it takes damage. And so now he's rolling a 2 against us, and we rolled a 4, so he completely misses. So that guy is already resolved, and now we're going to see where their bomber is going to go. He's going to go after the island. And so we'll put him there. There's no anti-air for the island. And so we'll go ahead and roll for him. He's rolling a 3. He rolled a 2, so he does hit our infantry, but that part stinks. But our infantry takes the damage. And now we move to the naval phase. So with the naval phase, again, 1, 2, 3. Well, we're going to roll for him first. He rolls a 3. That's a 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are all 4s, and I see 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. That's more like it. So 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. So we took out 2 more battalions, and then we have 2 7s, which are both hits. And this guy has a 0, so I can take him down. So 2 hits takes this one out. Okay. And then we move to the land part. And I just realized something, folks. What I'll do is I'll flip this battalion back to full strength, and I got to get rid of the fortification. Okay. So now they roll 2 2s and a 1. Here's the 2 2s. That hits. So our infantry's dead. We can't take the island. But we at least keep moving. We now have 3 turns left. And we're going to do 3 for them. Kamikaze, bomb rolls, and ship combat. So all of these are helping them. And where are they going to go? So we're going to roll for the full strength bomber. He's going after our battleships, and then the damaged one is going after our carriers. Okay, so the big thing here is they get +3 on their bomb rolls, and if they hit, they inflict 2 hits because they're doing kamikaze attacks. So that's the part that hurts, but they get destroyed. So 10 bomb rolls. Oh, that means they're both going after the carriers. I think I gotta look that up again. What does the 10 bomb rolls mean? Yeah, so they're going after the carriers. So they're gonna try to kamikaze our carriers. That's not good. So now we're gonna roll 2 3s for our destroyers, anti-air. One of them hit, and we will kill this one. So that's good, he's out. And then we're gonna roll 2 1s. We do get to roll 2 of them because we're supposed to roll all of our stuff, but these are both only gonna hit with a 1. And 3-2 was an excellent roll, but not enough. So they make it through. So this guy normally only rolls a 3, which is not too threatening, but now it becomes a 6/2. So I need to roll a 10 here. And I rolled a 1. So that kamikaze is going to do 3 hits by himself. So we lose the Lexington, we lose the Wasp, and then 1 destroyer takes damage. So we just lost 3 carriers. And they lose their last plane. So the kamikaze did his job. And it's all because of that bomb roll bonus. All right, so then we move to naval combat, and they get a +3/+2. So now they're rolling a 6/2 for their destroyer. So they do 1 hit, and we don't have any infantry anymore, so they're hitting, you know, here. So Abda is going to take a damage, but he rolls at full strength for now. So we roll 5 4s. And that's 1 2 hits. And that means a battalion goes. And then we're going to roll 2 7s. And that means another infantry goes. So we'll go ahead and take this one because he's the best value. And now we're down to 2 turns left. The carriers don't have anything left. So this is now just a Navy battle. 1 2 3. So air combat does nothing. Artillery does nothing. That one places a battalion, which we're annoyed with. And then it's back to just us rolling attacks. So now I am down to 4 dice at 4. And only 1 hit. And then one of them is a 2, which is a miss. And then 2 7s is 1 hit. So I only hit twice. That was an awful thing. The battalion basically absorbed all of it. Down to 1 turn left. Oh, they get to roll a 3. They missed with a 4. So down to our final turn. And we're definitely not going to sink that destroyer because we got to hit 2 airfields before we can get to the destroyer. They roll a 3. They do hit us. So I'm going to have to damage another cruiser because I don't want to lose any more ships. And then we're going to roll 3 4s. No, 4 4s. But that's 1 hit. Here's the 4th one. Nothing. And then 1 2. Nothing. And then 2 7s. 2 hits. So we did 3 hits total, which does do damage. I mean, we get to eliminate another infantry. And we damage the last one, but they hold the island. And this was a brutal battle. I guess you could say we did damage to them as well, but this was brutal. So our ships are going to be there, and then we have 2 cruisers and a destroyer, so 3 points worth of ships are going to need to be repaired. So I'm just going to set them to the side. And then the island itself is held by a single damaged guy. And then as far as this goes, this is Carrier Fleet 1 and 3. We definitely did do a dent to them. Excuse me, Carrier Fleet 1. This is the KO. That goes on Carrier Fleet 1, damaged. Destroyer Group 3 goes on Carrier Fleet 1. The Maya Atago Cruiser, also Carrier Fleet 1. So Carrier Fleet 1 is basically, they're going to lose the escort carrier. So then this one goes on 3 and 3. So the thing is losing 3 carriers like that is brutal. I mean, those 3 carriers just provide so much. And even if I would have done the thing that lets me stop one hit, I couldn't have stopped that. I mean, they had 6 carriers. And even though they were escort and light carriers, it was still too much. I feel very disappointed. Hey, have fun, okay? All right, so now for the next battle, and this is the one that I thought was really gonna go bad for us. And I feel really concerned now. So there's 3 planes. We have 2 infantry. We actually have a lot of planes. And these 2 infantry were on Borneo. I apologize, I grabbed from the wrong spot. We have 2 Marines in foxholes. And then we have a whole bunch of our planes. And I think this might be the difference. Like, this battle might go a lot simpler for us. And I sent my lesser carriers, because those 3 carriers that sank were the lesser ones. They were all 1942 carriers. I sent them to Wake Island because I thought that that was going to be the less attacked area, right? Or the lowest risk. And it's sort of funny how the AI has this uncanny ability to sniff you out. And then Carrier Fleet 4 is only 3 ships. So we're only going up against 3 ships, but 2 of them are full-size carriers. And then a destroyer escorting them. And we're gonna have 2 dive bombers. And 2 torpedoes. And 2 zeros. So it's gonna look like that, right? And then of course they have the 3 there. They have 1 infantry in the foxhole. And then Carrier Fleet 4 is bringing there's nobody on a transport is what I'm getting at. And then we don't have as much as we did last time. Last time we had like that big naval presence. We do have 2 subs though to harass them. And then we have the Lexington, a destroyer, the Enterprise, a destroyer, and the Yorktown. Now these are all 3, well no, Enterprise is not Essex class, but 2 of them are. And then of course we have 3 destroyers that can run escort for them. And I think I'm definitely gonna do that. So, and just look at the anti-air for these carriers. I mean, that's so much better than a 2-1, which was on our other carriers, or a 4-2. I mean, they're just better carriers. The 42 one should have been probably decommissioned for the Essex class. Anyways, I think when you play this campaign, you just obviously a lot of these historically sank. So we're just catching up with history, I guess. But the other part is that if you could theoretically keep those lesser carriers in the battle, in the game, then you have that many more planes to all your battles. And the idea was solid. I was trying to send them somewhere where they can still get some action, but they're not going to be at the front lines. Well, they ended up in the front lines and they got cut down. But they took down 3 carriers and a half. So they did their job, and they did all that in 1 turn. Man, can you imagine what we would have done if we would have had more turns? Okay, so 3 carriers, 2 of them are Enterprise, or I'm sorry, Essex class. So 1, 2. Let's just take a bunch of them. All right, so we have I know I try to cheat and just get less planes than I need to, but it sometimes requires more explanation to explain what they're all doing than it is just to get them out. I'm not cheating, I'm cutting corners, I guess is the better way to word it. Okay, don't need him. And looks like I'm short 1 dive bomber. And I have it. So look at all those planes. I mean, it's glorious. All right, so we have a crap ton of planes of our own and on the island. They have a lot of planes. So this is a big battle. And once again, I don't have any battle plan points to spend other than the original 3. So this is where I can get myself in a bit of trouble. I did roll a 9, so we're going to have 4 battle turns. I would say, hey, let's take engaged, but that didn't work out very well for me last time. I mean, I could have taken this for 1 extra surface hit, and we actually could have kicked them off the island. We could have done the extra anti-air as well. So roll an extra anti-air, and if I roll like a 6-3 against their air, that's pretty good. But I think I am this time, because I don't have the ability. I do have leathernecks, right? I can take that this turn. I'm not going to have the ability to I can't stop a hit. I need 4 points. I don't have 4 points. So that's just not an option. So the best I can do is I can like do a barrel roll to stop a hit on an aircraft, or I can re-roll a torpedo, stop a hit on an airfield. Those are all things I can do. I could do first light, and I think that's the one I'll take. And with that, I'm going to take furball for a dogfight extra hit, because there's not a lot I can do. Well, actually, no. An extra anti-air attack would be better than furball. We learned that lesson last time. Okay, because that first light burned us. All right, they get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they're only getting 2 battle plans. So they're at least a weaker in that regard. So here's the first one, and here's the second one. So first one is infantry combat, gets a bonus. That will help the 1 unit. And then they get a +1 on all rolls. So that could hurt. All right, where are we going? Well, all my carrier bombers are going after their carriers. Plain and simple. We're going to finish our carriers this turn. And then anything that's on the island, well, let's look at this. So on the island, I actually have a whole mix of stuff here. I actually have bombers there that have a 6 against sea. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, in fact. I mean, they're just as good as a carrier bomber. Those are the Corsairs. They also have excellent dogfighting capability. So, you know what? I'm going to send those after the carrier as well. And then the 3 on the right there are going to stay on the island. So I have at least 1 dogfighter there to protect the island. And then as far as the carriers go, and our fighters, I have 4 of them here that are going to protect the carriers. And then this one is going to protect our transport, because I don't want to make our transport exposed too badly. And so let's roll for the 2. These are the 2 carriers that they oh no, I have to roll for first light. Let's do that. I rolled a 4. So no first light. So I'm going to roll for their 2 carriers, see where they go. 5 is island, 4 is island. So they're all going to the island. That's not good for us. And then the bomber on the island is going, gotta reroll, also to the island. And so then the 0 and the 2 carriers, one is going after our, they're both going after our carriers. That's an interesting dilemma. And they will do it because we have planes here. So for their 0s to come and engage, that is allowed per the rules. It's a weird one, but, and then this guy's here. All of these are on the island. So the weird thing about the island is they're going to hit our airfields and destroy these planes, which are all extremely expensive to rebuild. So this is not as bad as losing a carrier, but it's bad. And then on the island, we have 2 0s, and they're going to go again against our carriers. So that's the situation. So we got to do dogfights now. I only have one plane over the island that has dogfight capabilities, a 6-3. I did roll a 3, which means I get to destroy something. And I can, you know, these guys are rolling a 2, these are rolling a 3. This one's rolling a 4, and they all have a bracket of 2, so I can take this one out. So the 34th Sentai is gone. So yay to that. This guy, the Corsair, or it's not a Corsair, it's a P-47, was able to take that out. And like I said, these guys are heading over the carrier. If I would have kept them behind, look at all the dogfight they could have done, but they didn't. So then we get to here, and there's some serious dogfighting happening over our carriers. First of all, they get to roll 2 6-3s, and they both missed, which was amazing within itself. And a 5-3, that's a miss, and then a 3-2 is a miss. So all of their dogfighters missed, which that is definitely defying the odds. We have 4 8-4s. Well, this is 2 hits, 3 hits, 4 hits, 5 hits. So we rolled 3 8s and a 3. So we did 5 hits against them. And so we're going to take out their ground ones first, 2, 4, and then 5. Well, can I? Yes, the brackets let me do that. And before I forget, we need to set up their airfield. Their airfield has a value of 3 for purposes. Okay, and then now we do anti-air. So let's start with ours. We get to roll, so there's only 2 planes left for them, so we get to roll 2 3s, and that's a miss. And then we have 2 6-3s, and that's a 1 for 2 hits and a 4 for 1 hit. So we destroyed all of the 0s. I didn't use the extra AA because I'm worried about their bombers coming some other time. Okay, so now it's time for their anti-air. They have a 2, miss, and then they have 2 4-2s. All right, and I apologize again because they get a +1 to all their rolls, so this is actually a hit. I don't know if I missed that in other places. I probably did. It's probably the biggest mental mistake I make is I draw these plans and then forget to apply them. So I'm gonna make sure that hit at least goes through, and I have a feeling I'm gonna lose these planes, but I'm gonna go ahead and hit my torpedo bomber. Now it's time for the actual bombs. So we're gonna start with them, and this is over the island, and I need as many misses as possible. Here's 2 2s, which are now gonna become 2 3s. And there's a 3 for 1 hit, okay? And then we have 2 3s, which now become 2 4s. And that's a 2 and a 4, that's 3 total hits they did against us. I'm gonna use Leathernecks, which stops a hit on an island. So now that becomes 2 hits. And yes, I'm going to lose 2 airfield because there's nothing else I can do. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now I'm down to 5 for my airfield. So 2 of my planes are gonna have to go, and it's probably gonna be the B-24s because they're the cheapest to replace. So my B-24s need to do their mark. They get to drop 6s, 2 of them, 10 and a 7, so they both missed. And then my P-47 is a 2. That's a hit. So we hit for 1. And this is on the land. So 1 hit on the land. And I'm gonna go ahead and take these 2 out. We just lost both of these. And again, I'm losing more planes than I can replace. And then we hit them once, and I can choose to hit the infantry because it has the same bracket value, so I'm gonna do that. Okay, they have nothing to hit our planes with, but we have a whole lot going after them. So against their carriers, we have a 3, which is a miss. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 6s. 2, 4, 6, here's 7 of them. Miss. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. And then I get to roll an 8th die. There are 7 hits against them. And that's more than enough to sink everything. So carrier sunk. Scratch 2 flat tops. And then a destroyer is gone as well. So the entire 4th carrier fleet is out of commission. And that's pretty good. All right, so the camera moved everything around. My subs are all of a sudden not very helpful. We do land battles now. They roll a 2. It's a 10, and then we roll 2 7s. They would have rolled more than a 2 because of this, but they rolled a 10, so everything didn't work for them. We hit twice, and so we're gonna finish off the infantry. And then we're going to knock the airfield down a notch. So they're down to 2. And then we move to 3 rounds left. They draw 2 battle plans. They have nothing. We actually won. We won the battle in 1 turn. So we sank all the ships and we destroyed all the planes and the infantry. So we lost the 2 planes, which, you know, considering the fact we just took down 2 carriers, that was probably a price we would pay gladly. And our carriers were untouched, which was always the plan. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 land-based aircraft that survived this. A lot of them are, they're all Corsairs, almost all of them. Philippines flips to the good guys. MacArthur is wading through the ocean up to the beach and telling them he fulfilled his promise. And we're doing good, at least on this side. The other side took over at Wake Island, we took a brutal beating, but here we did good. So for the Philippines, we have the 2 Marines that landed. We're going to need to call them into service to take back the Solomon Islands. And then we have a battalion in... Oh, the rules for the Philippines is we're supposed to inflict 1 hit on U.S. infantry every turn. And the Japanese were supposed to draw an extra battle plan. So for that first... for that first battle plan, they had the kamikaze, and we ended up taking them all out in 1 turn anyways. So this battalion would have taken 1 damage. That was the whole reason I sent the battalion, so he would absorb those hits. But we won in 1 turn, so we just have 1 hit there. And then these guys, of course, are defending the island. I'm still removing pieces. And yeah, our 2 subs didn't get to do anything. They actually would have been more helpful on the other side. But, you know, 2020 is hindsight. This is the risk you take when you don't scout. I paid a price for not scouting. And in fact, we could theoretically argue I paid a bigger price than I would have if I would have just done the scouting. We roll for their reinforcements. I rolled a 10, and 10 plus 8 is 18. They have 1 injured unit, 2 injured units, so it becomes 16. So 3 ships come out, 3 infantry come out, and that's crazy. See all that stuff that fell over? That's all the infantry we've destroyed this year so far. And this infantry you see neatly stacked is the new ones that came in 1944. So all that stuff we destroyed is obviously being reproduced, but it's in the stack, but it's at the bottom of the stack. And there were so many of them, I just put them in the back, and of course the stack fell over. And then planes is 2. So 2 planes, 3 infantry, and then let's see what happens with their ships. So Carrier Fleet 4 is out of commission. First one up is a Destroyer Group 2. Now, Destroyer Group 2 actually has a named spot over in Battleship Fleet 1, so I'm going to put him there. He goes back to Battleship Fleet 1. Cruiser Yamagi Sakawa. They don't have a cruiser in Carrier Fleet 4, so we can't put him there. Surface Fleet 1 only has 1 unit, so he gets this cruiser. And that'll go over the Furutaka. And then the battleship, Nagato Mutsu, is being built. And Carrier Fleet 4 does use a battleship, so he will get the battleship. Now, actually, this is a named one, and Carrier Fleet 5 has it. See, look at this. Their battleship values have decreased. So this was the 1942 value, and now in 44, it's not as effective. Okay, so Carrier Fleet 4 actually never got any reinforcements. It's still waiting. And we, of course, are in supply. That Wake Island has turned into quite a beast to take. We lost the Solomon Islands, but we can still supply through Australia. And we are going to move to September, October. And from a production perspective, well, let's do a couple of things here. These ships are coming out, so we got ourselves our big Navy again. These ones go up. This was our biggest Navy, but it got cut down to size because we lost 3 carriers. And so we just produced, for this turn, the light carrier Langley and the Iowa. So those are 2 nice additions to this particular Navy. They're going to fit in really well, in fact. These all go down. And we have 2 light carriers coming up for the next round. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to rush this carrier, the Hancock. So that way I have 2 carriers to replace the ones we just lost. That'll show up in the Navy that we just lost them in. These 2 Marines come down, and then these come down. So we got, the Marines aren't quite ready. These 2 planes actually are replacing the planes we just lost, pt17 and bt24, so that part's good. But we were meant to be enhancing them, not replacing them. So we are in near the end of the month, September, October. We get 36 points. Okay, with 36 points, 35, 34, 33 to repair these ships. Okay, and then 32 to repair the battalion in the Philippines. So I'm going to grab 32 points. And it does feel good to grab 32 points instead of like 20. So let's swing back over here and see what we can do with 32 points. So one of the things we can do is 10 points towards get that morale thing going, right? So the earlier we do it, the more we benefit from it. From a ship perspective, we have 6, 12, 18, 22, 26. Capacity is 35, so I have 9 points of ships I can produce. Well, I can produce another carrier for 6. And then 3 more points. I can get a battleship out, an escort carrier, or a cruiser. And there's a nice cruiser here that has a 5 attack value. So I'll do that for 3. And so 3 goes there. So that's 9 points. So I'll spend 9. I have 1 left. And we actually have 13 points still. We're at capacity here. For the planes, we have 6 points of planes, and we can go to 10. So I'm going to take the 2 planes we just lost. They cost 2 each, and put them on. And so that puts us up to 10. So I'm going to spend 4, which gives me 5, 6. All right, so we have 9 points left. And I'm going to save all of it. 4 points for scouting, and then extra points for battle plans. Now, what I could do is this has a max of 13, so I could put like 3 more points here. So that way I don't have to put as many points next turn. So let's do that. I'm going to flip this to 1. And so I'll have 13 points here, so it costs me less next turn to finish this. And then I have 6 points left. I'll spend 4 of them for scouting, or will I? I may not need to. I know I said that last time and I paid the price for it, right? But truly, we're making a dent in their Navy. We're just losing our own Navy in the process. Wake Island, I want to annihilate. I'm getting really annoyed with them, but let's see what we can do here. I don't have to decide to do scouting yet. Actually, I do. I have to decide right now. So let's talk about who's staying where. Carrier Fleet 5 is going to hold because they are now on a Japanese objective. Surface Fleet 2 is holding. And then between Carrier Fleet 1 and 3, Carrier Fleet 1 is losing this carrier because it got damaged. So 1 second while I reach across the table. It's FFG card sleeve time again. So trying to fix as much of it as I can. Okay. All right, Carrier Fleet 1 has 2 units, and then Carrier Fleet 3, here's my question. I'm looking at these 2 here. Carrier Fleet 3 has 2 units, so it doesn't matter which one stays. So I'm gonna go ahead and choose the one on top, Carrier Fleet 3. Or you know what, the best way to do it is to roll. Because actually this one has carriers in it, this one has no carriers in it. Although they both have 2 ships, so even, odd. Odd. So Carrier Fleet 1 is the one that's going to stay, even though they don't have any actual carriers in them. So we know those are going to hold. Surface Fleet 3 over here is holding. And then there's 3 of them in Japan. So if I do a scouting order, it's only for 3 of them. Because these are the only ones that are moving. Carrier Fleet 2, Battleship Fleet 1, and Surface Fleet 1. I'm not intimidated by Surface Fleet or Battleship Fleet. Carrier Fleet 2 is the only one I think I would care about. So let's do that. Let's pay 1 point to scout that one. All right, so we agreed that we were going to do hold, 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 hold. So everything jacks up. And actually, I'm going to pay another point because I want to scout this one here, Carrier Fleet 3. So I have 4 points left. All right, so for Carrier Fleet 3, that's a 5 plus a 6 is 11. He's going to support, and I got to roll. So I rolled a 2. And remember, we always started in Okinawa, went down, and then went this way. So Carrier Fleet 3 is going there. And they're going to pretty much stay there for the rest of the game because that's an objective. So then we go to Carrier Fleet 2. We're going to roll for that one. This would have gone up, by the way. That's a 4 plus 6 is 10. He's withdrawing one closer to Japan. He's already in Japan, so he's holding, and then that maxes out. And so since he's holding, Carrier Fleet 2 already has, well, Carrier Fleet 3 is going to take 2 troops with him because he moved. And then 3 planes are holding with him. Okay, so we're done with the scouting, and I have 4 points left, and now we get to go do the Symphony of Destruction. Solomon Islands, we completely lost. I have 2 Marine units who are destined for Solomon Islands. The other one I'm going to send to Wake Island. Basically, I can take Leathernecks in 2 places and then jump into foxholes right away and hopefully take these dang islands. From a Navy perspective, I don't have a lot of infantry because I keep losing them. So I am going to take one of my Aussie infantry from Borneo and add it to the Solomon invasion. I could take one from Philippines, but I'm going to leave it there. I'm also leaving my planes in the Philippines because Borneo right now is defended. And it's out of supply for Japan. So as long as, this infantry is actually going to move over to New Guinea, and then I'm going to move my battalion from the Philippines to Borneo because I don't need a full strength infantry in Borneo at the moment. So here's what I got. I have a light carrier, the Langley. I have the Yorktown and the Iowa, which is just amazing. I have submarines, cruiser, destroyer, another battleship, and battleship. Holy cow. Yeah, this is where we have our firepower with this one. We have the Saratoga, the Essex, and destroyers for each of those. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 carriers. Carrier Fleet 5 has 2 full-strength carriers in it. It has 2 land units, and that's it. Wake Island only has 1 land unit. I would tell you that we actually have enough to attack somewhere else, except we really don't. But it doesn't mean, though, I can't send my ships to attack an area, even if I don't have troops, and then I can try to soften them down. That's a interesting idea. Well, no matter what, we want to take Wake Island. And so for Wake Island, there's no actual carriers. So my battleships are going to go to Wake Island. And the cruisers are going to help out with Solomon Island. So I'm going to divide it up like that. I want my battleships to do the damage up there. And I'm going to send the Yorktown along with the Langley to help out up there. And then Essex and Saratoga are staying behind. And then the subgroup is going to help them, because we got to go up against the carrier fleet here. And this is a little bit troubling, but that's what I'm going to do. Now, so with that being done, I love 1944 because I don't, as long as there's an objective token, the Japanese troops aren't rolling for movement orders. However, Caroline Islands is definitely going to move, and so is Okinawa. So let's roll for those next. And let's start with the Caroline Islands. That's a 1 plus a 6 is 7. They're going to refit in Japan. So 3 planes are flying back to Japan, and 1 infantry is going back to Japan. So Caroline Islands is back to bare bones again. Now we move to Okinawa. 2 plus 6 is 8. They're going to move one closer to Japan. So that's going to be 2 planes and 1 infantry. So again, 2 planes and an infantry. Still rolling for Okinawa. I rolled a 10 plus 6 is 16. They're going to reinforce. So let's roll. I rolled a 9. This would be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So 9 is Wake Island. Jesus. So both planes are going to Wake Island along with 1 infantry, which will be on a transport. So, of course, Wake Island. All right, so Okinawa's done, and now we're going to do Japan itself. We have Carrier Fleet. I'm sorry, Carrier Fleet 2 is done. We have Surface Fleet 1. 3 plus 6 is 9. Withdrawal, which is a hold. And 3 planes are going to hold with them. Battleship Fleet 1. 6 plus 6 is 12. They're moving south, so they're going to Okinawa. And Battleship Fleet 1 is going to load up with troops from Japan. Done. Okay, that's all the commands. So here's the State of the Union. We got a battle going on here and Wake Island. That's it. They really didn't push too hard anywhere else, although they did reinforce Wake Island. And so we have the Philippines on the board here. And Borneo, let's get those off. Wake Island and Solomon Islands are on the docket. And I'm at 1 hour and 11, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this video, and we'll see you in a few seconds.